First, you go to the Blackboard page for the course. On the left side of the screen, you find the page for the Zoom exam. Here, it is simply called Zoom Exams, but it might have a different name in your course. The exact name of the page depends on what the secretary has called it. When you press on the link, it'll redirect you to a new page. On this page, you can see all the meetings that are scheduled for the given course. On the list, find the exam you need to host. It'll probably be named with the date of the exam, the course name, and your own name. To the right, you need to press Start and allow to open in Zoom. This is what Zoom will look like if the video is turned off. In the bottom left, you can turn on the video by pressing Start Video. You can also unmute your microphone by pressing Unmute. In the bottom of the page, you find the Participants button. When you press the button, you get an overview of all the people who are either waiting in the waiting room or already in the meeting. The censor will join the meeting just like the students do, and therefore we need to let them in first. The way to do so is to find the censor's name on the list of people waiting in the waiting room and press Admit. We now see that the censor has joined us in the meeting room. When we're ready to host the exam, we need to also let in the student. We do this in the exact same way, by pressing Admit next to the student's name. When the student is in the meeting room with us, it's time to host the exam. Once we're done with the exam, we need to put the student back in the waiting room in order to talk about the grade. When we want to talk about the student's grade, we need to put them back in the waiting room. To do so, we hold the mouse over the student's name and we get the option to press More. When we press More, we also get the option to put in waiting room. And when we choose this, the student will go back in the waiting room. When students are in the waiting room, they can't hear what we're saying in the meeting, and they also can't see us in the meeting anymore. In the waiting room, the student will see a message saying, "Please wait. The meeting host will let you in soon." And that's all. If there are more students in the waiting room, they can't see each other and they can't hear each other. So there's no way for the students to communicate in the waiting room. When we've talked about the grade, we want to let the student back in to give them the grade. The way to do this is to simply press Admit once more, and the student will be back in the meeting with us. If we're running late, it's nice to let the students in the waiting room know how far we are in the process. We can do so by using the chat function in Zoom. You find the chat function right next to the participants window in the bottom. When I press the chat, it'll open underneath the participants window. In the chat, I can write a message to everyone waiting in the waiting room. First, I need to change who gets the message. I set it to everyone in the waiting room. Then I can type my message saying we're running late and press enter. Everyone who's waiting in the waiting room will be able to see this message now. If, however, a student enters the waiting room after 10:06, they will not be able to see the message. Therefore, it's a good idea to post a message on a regular basis.